Hello, I'm Stephen Koukoulas, the resident economist for My Mortgage Freedom, and here's a bit of an update about the economy, the property market, and of course, something that everyone's interested in, the interest rate outlook. Look, I think it's fair to say that the economy is weak. We do know that the interest rate hikes from the last couple of years have impacted on consumer spending. Consumers are hunkering down. A lot of discretionary spending in particular is where the weakness has occurred. So that weakness is continuing into the second half of 2024, despite some of the income tax cuts that were welcome, but not that huge, and some of the other subsidy measures for things like electricity that are helpful, but again, not really game-changing in terms of the growth outlook. For the property market, boy, we're seeing a really divergent picture for the Australian housing market. Prices in Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane still booming. In Melbourne, they're a little bit weaker, but curiously, having looked at house prices for many decades now, when you see this divergence occurring from city to city, between different regional parts of the economy, to me it says an opportunity. It is really unusual that Melbourne property, for example now, is the sixth most expensive, as in one of the cheapest markets in Australia right now. There's some reasons for it. There's some issues associated with some of the taxes that have been put in place for the investors and the like, but I do know that over time, that property markets tend to converge again. Melbourne's super cheap right now. Over the medium term, I expect Melbourne prices to outperform the rest of the country, and that's when Perth, Brisbane, Adelaide start to cool off. Now for interest rates. We've recently heard the RBA saying rates on hold. They haven't moved them since November 2023. The interesting thing about the most recent comment was that they've ruled out the rate hike. So we in the markets are speculating and working out when will that rate cut occur, because I think that is pretty much the core consensus now. The next move in rates is down. All we are discussing is when will that first cut be, and then how many cuts will we see over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. My hunch is that we could well see a 25 basis point cut before the end of the year. Unemployment and inflation are the key drivers of when we will see those rate cuts. But when I look into 2025, inflation back under control, worrying thing, unemployment will be creeping up a little bit more, might be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's the trigger for the more aggressive rate cuts. And it's also important to note rate cuts are being delivered in the US, in Europe, in the UK, Canada, New Zealand, China. We are part of the global economy. They're not cutting interest rates in those countries for fun. They're cutting them because their economies are weak and inflation's falling. We're going to be joining that party sooner rather than later. Thanks very much.